Sleepy Hollow episode 6 titled Sin Eaters. After a 2 week break that really sucked, we finally get this episode, and it was actually really good. We got to see how Ichabod actually met Katarina, and we got to see how he became a part of this, basically demon based world. And it was really cool to see Ichabod. It was every other episode has been him after he defected, and he was already doing this or that had something special to do with something supernatural fighting for our country. And in this, he starts off when he's still fighting for the British, for the Queen. He is a redcoat, and he goes through this episode and he's torturing a guy, and through this torturing and dealing with his commanding officer, he ends up finding out that some people are actually demons, and he has to make a choice as to whether or not he really believes in this world, and whether or not he will actually betray his country and his family to fight for for basically just the colonies at this point. So it's really cool to get that backstory from him. How they met. That wasn't particularly important. It just obviously just happened to all work together. That the person who initially got him into this world also happened to know Katarina, which makes sense because when you're in a war like that, and you're starting off as a country, there aren't going to be just tons and tons of people. It's really going to be small when you think about the country now. How many people would be in this secret organization or whatever would be like hundreds of thousands, I'm sure. But at this time, it was probably only like 1,000 or maybe 2,000, if that. So you have to consider, based on the time, it's just they have to work it in there where certain people would know other people, and they really have to stay connected because it's a small, it's not even a country yet, small knit group, and they're all in war, so they have to deal with fighting a war that happens to also have demons in this war. So it was really cool to see that, and see Ichabod's experience and his first interaction with the demon. And I actually enjoyed that scene when he makes the decision, he lets the guy go, and I knew that was gonna happen. I was like, obviously he's not gonna kill this guy because we've seen the other episodes, so he lets him go and joins their side. But the twist that came is that the guy does end up getting killed because Ichabod's commanding officer is a demon, and he goes and he kills that guy because he knows, this guy knows about demons and this and that, and I can't let him just go away. It's not just he's on the opposite side. He's like really on the opposite side. He's against the country I'm with, and he's against demons and stuff like that. So him actually being in the forest was a shock to me. I didn't expect him to kill the other guy off, but it was pretty good. And of course, that led to Ichabod basically feeling as though he should sacrifice himself so that he can basically take down death. And he's working with the Freemasons. Well, he's pretty much captured by the Freemasons, and they tell him, they have him retell this guy's story because that man died for the greater good, and they feel Ichabod has to do the same in order to take down death. And something that was also really good in this episode, Katarina does not go to Ichabod, she goes to Abby. And that leads to Abby working with her sister, and it was really cool because they got every element in it. We got death, which we didn't get him a lot, but we got the headless horseman a little bit. We got Abby working with her sister. We got Katarina in it. We had Orlando Jones. So it was pretty good. It had all the elements of the show, and I feel like next week's going to be a great episode. So we will, wait. I'm really excited for that. But they had really good story, and Abby's really connected to Ichabod after all this time. So he's really important to her, and she's really important to him. So when he decides to basically kill himself, she still chooses to at least try to help him, and he does end up being sanctified, as they call it. And he says, you were right. There's always another way. And they bond once again because that's just what they do in the show. But it was really good to see that they came through. He separated himself from the horseman, so as he said, he doesn't feel him anymore. He's not weighed down by the power of death. He's his own person now, and they aren't bonded together. So it frees him up to basically attack the horsemen with Abby's help, of course, and her sister and whoever else might happen to join their group. But it's cool that they added in the Freemasons as this magical group and stuff. Excited to see how that plays out now that Ichabod, he separated himself and he's still alive. If he is really a Freemason, then they will help him out and they will help him and Abby defeat the Horsemen. So I'm excited to see how they come into play in this series. But I'm sure they won't have a huge role because it's the first season. I feel like they won't add all these different elements to it. They'll just introduce it like they've been introducing everything else. So excited to see where it goes. But great episode, great drama, and really good development. It was great to see the defining factor for Ichabod as to how he came into the basically demon based world and stuff and fighting you know for the English or against the English I should say, fighting for the Americans. But that was really good episode. He and Katarina met. Katarina went to Abbey, so they had a different connection because they generally don't have one at all. Orlando Jones was the same, still a skeptic, which I like that scene. That was really funny. Other funny moments was, of course, the very beginning, and they're at the baseball game. That was really good too. But still going strong. Something I read when it was, when they did like the 2 week break, just because of course I was looking, trying to figure out what happened. The show has been picked up for a season 2 already, and I think they did that actually like a month or so ago. It's like in the third episode or something like that. So if you're ever wondering, or if you're wondering, it's been picked up for a season 2. So we will at least have this season and a whole nother season. So a whole other season, not a whole nother. But we'll have 2 seasons officially. So keep all the views on this show, and then keep them going for next season. But excited for next week, and I want you to comment below and let me know what you thought. Favorite part, least favorite part. Um, Honestly, if I had to pick one thing that I didn't like as much, is I feel like Abby and her sister. I don't know. I guess because it wasn't the focus of this episode, it really was about Ichabod. I felt that them working together wasn't prominent enough. I don't know why. And like it really was in the beginning before they even found the guy, but for some reason it seemed like once they found that guy, or once they actually went and they found Ichabod, I swear it seemed like her sister wasn't even in the scenes anymore. Like they just didn't even show her in the background. I felt that way, but I'm pretty sure they did, and I could have just been looking away. But it seemed like she didn't even appear in any of the scenes once they kind of got into the base, and I just thought that was really weird. But I guess it's a different problem than what I initially said. It wasn't that I didn't feel they worked together enough. It was just that she seemed like she disappeared once they got into that base. But that was just me. But overall, love the episode. Excited for next week like crazy because they're gonna, fight the horsemen. Who knows if they're gonna bring in the others or something like that. But excited for next week for sure. But I want you guys to comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.